Hello guys, how are you all? Welcome to my channel. So, today we are gonna see, what if Naruto x Evangeline AKM, part 1, subscribe if you enjoy the video, let's start the story. The small girl with long blonde hair looked in surprise, as she glared through the fog. Has that store always been there? She'd never noticed it before. Realizing that it was the place she was looking for, she looked up and down the streets, making sure no one was on them before entering the store. It was a quiet night and no one was out, surprising as that was, but she would guess it was just the harsh cold of the winter around her. Looking to the door of the shop, she observed it. The door was simple, with a window on it, the only window she could see anywhere in the store that had the words "what you need" written on the glass. The rest was just plain brick with nothing flashy or special about it. Entering the shop, she heard the ringing of a small bell as she pushed the door open and found the lighting inside to be less than adequate. It did its job and lit the place well enough for people to see and get what they needed, but only just that, giving the small room a sleepy feeling to go with the cozy warmth that surrounded her. "Hello?" she called out, glancing around the room. It was small, with two small bookshelves loaded to the brim with books covering the right side of the store. 3 more shelves were on the left of the room, holding many different odd items she had never seen before. In the center of the room, she could see displays of different items that were still brand new to her and, looking past that, she found the counter, an old cash register resting there, and behind the counter were numerous devices mounted on the wall. "Hello?" a boy greeted, emerging from the staircase that also lay behind the counter. "What can I get for you?" The boy appeared to be the same age she appeared to be 10 and wore a plain black hoodie with a hood over his head, concealing his face with the poor lighting, but the girl could still make out the sparkle of the silver crucifix that hung from his neck. As he stood at the bottom of the staircase, she could also see his beige shorts. Was he insane? It was the middle of winter, and tan hiking boots. "I was told that you could give me a..." "Wait. Don't tell me," the boy cried, holding up his hand dramatically before reaching below the counter and bringing up a pen and paper. "Just sign your name here, age here, blood type here, and date of birth here." The girl shot the boy a questioning look but approached the counter and did so. "Now, as I was saying, I need a..." The boy leaned across the counter and put a finger to the girl's lips, causing her to blush. The boy then picked up the form and looked it over before reaching into the pocket of his hoodie and pulling out a tape measure and smiled, looking back at the girl. "I told you not to tell me, it spoils the surprise," the boy grinned, glancing back down at the form. "Now Evangeline, right? Well, Eva-chan, stand perfectly still." Evangeline did so, quietly observing the boy suspiciously as he walked around the counter and measured her height and waist. She had to admit, she was beginning to get slightly annoyed when he even took the time to measure her neck and head. "Get on with it," Evangeline growled. "Testy, aren't we?" The boy smiled before walking upstairs. "I'll be right back, remember, if you break it, you buy it." Evangeline sighed and took a seat at the table, observing the objects on it. Various assortments of stones, skulls, vials of liquids, chests, dice, and even rings were laid about it everywhere. "I'm back," the boy called, coming back down the stairs, his hands behind his back, "and I have exactly what you need." "It's about time," Evangeline muttered impatiently as she walked back up to the counter. "How are you sure you have what I need?" "Years of practice, I'm never wrong," the boy smiled, revealing the item he had behind his back. "Eva-chan, I'd like you to meet Chachizero, she's exactly what you need." Evangeline looked at the puppet in the boy's hands, not the least bit startled when the doll looked up at her. "Hello Chachizero. I had to keep Zero-chan upstairs because she developed a nasty habit of killing my customers." The boy smiled, "But I have a feeling she's exactly what you need." "You keep saying that," Evangeline muttered. "You're sure?" "Positive," the boy nodded. "I'll give you a full refund if you are disappointed, I aim to please." "Alright, I'll take her," Evangeline said, taking a hold of Chachizero, who smiled. "I think I like you," Chachizero mumbled. Evangeline looked at the boy. "How much?" "Oh, you've already agreed to the payment, Eva-chan," the boy smiled, holding up the paper she had signed. What?" Evangeline shouted. "He's fun, isn't he?" Chachizero's eyes twinkled, his customers never even bother to read what they sign first. "You see, Eva-chan, I specialize in selling exactly what people need." The boy's smile turned slightly sinister. "But people forget everything has a price now, this won't hurt one bit, dark Evangel-chan." That was the last memory Evangeline had of that night. After the boy had said those words, she blacked out and woke up on the street the next morning, Chachizero in her hands, and the shop nowhere in sight. From what she could tell, the boy hadn't done anything to her, so she never knew exactly what she paid that night. Chachizero told her he had asked people for many different things, and he never told her what they were until after the deal was made and the payment was collected. Still, Evangeline's curiosity couldn't help but get the better of her every time she thought back to that cold night in that cozy little store with that seemingly nice boy that always sold people exactly what they needed. "Ano-sensei, what's the meaning of this?" You can't really be employing a little kid as a teacher this year, can you? Asuna asked, still hot with anger and embarrassment over what had happened this morning. Not only had some little punk told her that her feelings for Takahata-sensei were meaningless, but then her clothes had been blown off right in front of her crush. Currently standing in the dean's office were Asuna, Nigi, and Kanoka. The office was large, with a table and 2 couches in front of Kano's desk, which sat in front of a large window. Asuna-chan, it's been a while, hasn't it? Kano stroked his beard before turning to the boy in question. I see your training has left you with a difficult position to fill, Nigi-kun. Yes, it's nice to meet you, Nigi bowed. Kano nodded, but you'll be needing more experience, so we'll make it from now to March. By the way, Nigi-kun, would you be interested in dating my granddaughter, Kanoka? Grandpa? Kanoka blushed, pulling out a hammer from thin air and whacking him over the head with it. He's a kid. How can you just give him a job like that, let alone let him be our homeroom teacher? Asuna shouted. Kano nodded, Nigi-kun, this is a very difficult task. If you are not up to it, you will have to return home. There are no second chances, do you understand, Nigi-kun? Yes, Nigi nodded, eyes shining with determination. I'm ready. Then it's settled, Kano nodded, causing Asuna's heart to drop. Nigi-kun will be your new homeroom teacher. The woman suddenly walked into the room. Kano-sama, you have a message from Evangeline-san. The woman walked over to the desk and handed Kano a slip of paper, who eyed it in understanding before turning to Nigi. Nigi-kun, Shizuna-sensei here will lead you to your class. Don't be late now. When everyone had left the room, Kano took the note and unfolded it, reading over what was written on it. Kano, someone's entered the school grounds. Evangeline, I can't believe this. Asuna thought angrily to herself as she stormed back to her dorm. Has everyone gone insane? He's just a kid. Why is he allowed to be a teacher? Asuna, lost in her thoughts, didn't notice she had now entered the Mihara shopping district. Many people crowded the street entering in and out of the different stores that lined nearly every step of the road, making it easy for one to get lost in the sea of people. It was, as she was coming out of her thoughts, that she caught something in the corner of her eye. A door. That's all it was, just a door that entered into a brick building. The door was simple with the words "What you need" written on the glass of the window, the only window Asuna could see on the building. Despite its simple looks, Asuna couldn't help but feel drawn to it, and she subconsciously began to walk towards it and open the door, entering the shop, causing the bell to chime. It was dark, the hanging lights just barely lighting the place as she observed the room, but it had a cozy warm atmosphere to it. The room was small, with 2 bookshelves up against the right side of the room, both crammed with books. On the left side, there were 3 shelves, stocked full with some of the strangest stuff Asuna had ever seen. In the center of the room was a table, with a bunch of weird and freaky stuff on it, and, looking past that, Asuna found the counter, with a bunch of even weirder stuff mounted on the wall behind it, and an old-fashioned cash register lying on top of it. Can I help you? Asuna jumped. She hadn't even noticed the boy standing on the staircase. He wore a black hoodie with the hood up, obscuring his face from view, but not the silver crucifix that hung from his neck. He also had on a pair of beige shorts and tan hiking boots. Great, more kids, Asuna inwardly sighed as she looked at the boy who couldn't have been more than 10 years old. I'm looking for the owner of this shop, have you seen him? The boy walked down the stairs and stood directly behind the counter. Now, I am the owner. What do you need? You're the owner? You're way too young to own a store. Asuna accused, stop messing around and get the real owner. So? Your teacher is way too young to be a teacher, but he's one, isn't he? The boy asked. Asuna blinked, how do you know about that? Oh, I know a lot of things, the boy replied. Now, what do you need? I don't really need any. Wait. Don't tell me. The boy shouted, raising his hand up dramatically. I know exactly what you need. You do? Asuna shot the boy a strange and disbelieving look as he reached below the counter and pulled up a pen and paper. I do, the boy answered, pushing the paper and pen across the counter. Just sign this and we can get started. What are you planning on selling to me? Asuna questioned. Huh? I told you, I plan to sell you exactly what you need, the boy responded, so, just sign here and I'm not signing off for something I don't know. Asuna interjected, crossing her arms and getting a stubborn look in her eyes. But that spoils the surprise. The boy sighed, noticing the stubbornness in her eyes. Fine. I have a feeling that today you have doubted your love more than ever before, am I right? Asuna blinked, yes, that's right. You need to admit that you love him, but you doubt he'll ever return your feelings, correct? The boy questioned deeper. Yeah, Asuna mumbled. What you need. The boy once again reached under the table and pulled up a small vial of liquid, is a love potion. Asuna's left eye began to twitch. Do I look like an idiot to you? You really expect me to buy a love potion? I see you don't believe in magic, the boy mumbled, putting away the vial. That's fine. You'll come back, they all come back sooner or later. Like hell I'll come back. Asuna shouted, slamming the door behind her and storming down the street, never looking back at the shop once. I really am sorry, Nigi apologized for the 7th time as he and Asuna walked back to the school. I wasn't trying to erase your clothes, just your memory. Asuna turned and glared at Nigi. I'd rather have had my memory replaced. Because of you and your stupid magic, Takahata-sensei saw me naked. Asuna threw herself to the ground in embarrassment and began to hit it with her fist while Nigi moved to comfort the girl. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to, you. Asuna suddenly shot up and grabbed Nigi by the collar of his shirt. What is a little mage like you doing, pretending to be a teacher? Training, Nigi answered. A mage's work is to improve the lives of the people of this world. Right now, I'm on what you could call a probationary license. What if you were to get exposed? Then I'd lose my license and be turned into an ermine. Nigi cried, please don't tell anyone. Your job is to help people, isn't it? Asuna mumbled, then you'll help me, right? Yes, Nigi sighed in relief, feeling the rage of his student die out. Asuna and Nigi headed back to the classroom, with Asuna stopping once to pick up some soda, discussing different possibilities with magic as the sun began to set. So could you make me a love potion? Asuna asked excitedly, fantasizing about Takahata falling in love with her. No, it takes a high-class mage to be able to do that, Nigi answered. Wait, a love potion? That's right. Asuna shoved a bottle of soda in Nigi's arms and began to run back to the Mihora shopping district. Asuna-san. Where are you going? Nigi called out to her. Just take those up to the classroom. I'll be back in a minute. Asuna called back, never looking over her shoulder or breaking her pace, leaving behind a confused Nigi. Asuna didn't hesitate to open the door and enter the shop, a burst of warm air hitting her as she did so. Hello? Are you still open? Boom. Asuna jumped as she heard the small explosion upstairs as smoke began to pour down the staircase. Damn it, well, that was a failure. The boy came down the stairs, coughing and waving his hand to clear the air of the smoke. Hello there, back so soon? Shut up. That love potion that you were going to sell me, is it real? Asuna pressed, walking up to the counter. Will it really work? The boy nodded. It is exactly what you need. I'll take it, Asuna declared. Give me that paper. Alright, the boy pulled out the paper and pen. Sign your name here, age here, blood type here, and date of birth here. Asuna did so, slightly confused as to why any of this mattered. I guess mages are just weird. Good. Now stand perfectly still, the boy said as he looked over the form before he reached into his hoodie and pulled out a tape measure. I just need to take some measurements. If you try anything perverted, I'll knock you through the roof, got it? Asuna growled. I wouldn't dream of harming a customer of mine, the boy smiled. Now let's see here. The boy started with measuring her height, which Asuna almost laughed at when the 10-year-old had to get a stepladder to do so, before he moved on to measuring her waist, to which Asuna held back a growl and resisted the urge to beat the boy. Asuna shot the kid a particularly odd look when he got back on the stepladder to measure her head and neck. Alright, everything's in order, the boy nodded, putting the tape measure away and going behind the counter, reaching below it and pulling up the vial. Here you go, exactly what you need. Great. How much do I owe you? Asuna said, taking the potion. The boy hummed as he fell into a thinking posture. How about this? You come back tomorrow and pay me after you've used the potion. Asuna grinned as she turned to leave. No problem. Oh, and Asuna-chan. What? Asuna turned around to face the boy, who she found was already headed upstairs. Make sure no one else drinks that potion, it's exactly what you need, and no one else, the boy chimed, before he disappeared into the darkness of the poorly lit shop. Asuna shot a weird look into the dark, searching for any sign of the boy, and, finding none, continued on her way, pushing thoughts of the strange boy to the back of her mind, and replacing them with thoughts of Takahata admitting his love for her. Asuna couldn't believe what had just happened. Her potion, which was currently flying through the air and towards Nigi's mouth, was about to be completely useless. Why? Because of her idiot teacher. Asuna had gone to bed last night with wonderful dreams of Takahata and had woken up this morning with only one thing on her mind, the potion. At school, she had finally managed to find Takahata talking with Nigi, and when she got close, Nigi sneezed, knocking her clothes off and tossing the potion into the air, the cork having flown off in the wind. Asuna saw. The potion landed right in Nigi's mouth, cutting him off and sending the liquid rushing down his throat. Seeing this, Asuna grabbed Nigi's arm tightly and dragged him into the classroom. Do you realize what you just did? That was my potion for Takahata-sensei. The potion? Nigi cried. Asuna-san, then that means its effects are going to start any minute now. Asuna and Nigi both cringed, waiting for a large number of girls to come bursting through the door and proclaim their love for Nigi, but it didn't happen. Did I buy a dud? Asuna mumbled. Thank goodness, Nigi sighed in relief. Nigi SENSEI. Nigi and Asuna stiffened as a chill ran down their backs, turning to find Kanoka beaming at Nigi. Kanoka-san. Nigi mumbled. Nigi-sensei, I never really noticed it before, but now that I take a good look at you, Kanoka blushed, you're really cute. Asuna felt her jaw hit the floor. Oh, Kami no. The boy kept the smile on his face even as Asuna burst through the door angrily and slammed it behind her, stomping all the way up to the counter and slamming her hands down on it. I've been expecting you, Asuna-chan, the boy said happily. How was it? Did you get your chance? Did I get my chance? You gave me a bad deal. Asuna shouted, pointing an accusing finger at the boy. That potion just sends a pack of lovesick idiots at you. The boy sighed and shook his head. You let someone else drink it, didn't you, Asuna-chan? How'd you know that? Asuna questioned. That potion was meant for you. If you had drunk it, your love would have come true, the boy paused, but if someone else were to drink it, it would have just sent everyone in the area head over heels for them. Asuna blinked, so, if you gave me another, I could. Sorry, Asuna-chan, but you still need to pay me for this little job, the boy interrupted. What do I owe you? Asuna asked. Your soul. Excuse me? Asuna shot the boy with a disbelieving look. I said that you owe me your soul, the boy repeated. This is a joke, right? Asuna frowned, this isn't funny. No one is laughing, Asuna-chan, the boy spoke, his voice taking a slight edge to it. Now, hand over your soul, and I won't have to take it from you. You? What can you do? You're just a pipsqueak. Asuna laughed, turning around to leave, only to find the boy already in front of her. How'd you? Do not underestimate me, the boy snorted. I have lived far longer than you have, and, just because I own a store, does not mean that I could not easily kill you where you stand. Asuna gulped, stepping back. I never agreed to this. On the contrary, you did, the boy snapped his fingers, causing the paper Asuna had signed to appear and float in front of her, magical parchment. Once you sign off on this paper, you can't get out of the deal unless I let you. You should always read the fine print, Asuna-chan, now, about your payment. You can't do this. Oh, but I can, and I have been doing it for many, many years. The boy laughed. Do I scare you, Asuna-chan? I'll do anything. Asuna begged. Anything? The boy stopped. I think we can work out an agreement, Asuna-chan. What sort of agreement? Asuna eyed the boy warily, ready to make a break for the door should she have to. You see, I've been getting a lot of orders from a lot of people, the boy explained, so I've been busy, especially since I got the biggest order I've ever gotten just last week. I need an extra hand to help me around the store. You will start working here tomorrow. What? Asuna shouted, but I already have a job. Quit it. But I won't be able to pay my tuition. That will be covered by me, the boy drew casually, meaning that any money you earn here will go straight towards your tuition. But it's either this or your soul, the boy finished. Pick. Fine, Asuna sighed, hanging her head in defeat. Who are you, anyway? If I'm going to be working here, I might as well know your name. I go by a lot of names, the boy explained. The first one I believe was Naruto. Yes, just call me Naruto. Asuna moved to the door. Fine, I'll be back tomorrow, Naruto. Asuna-chan, Naruto called. What? Asuna snapped, turning back to face him. If you don't come, Naruto smiled, I will find you. Asuna didn't hesitate to nod and ran out the door as fast as she could, never looking back to see two other men enter the store after she left. Naruto looked up and smiled. My, 2 more customers. I've been getting quite a lot of work here. What can I get for you two? Takahata and Kano glanced around the shop. We're just looking. Really? Naruto questioned. I can sell you anything you need. How about you, Jiji-san? I could sell you an ointment that can reverse your aging. By the end of the week, you'll be in your 20s again. Kano chuckled, a tempting offer, but I believe the price is too steep for me. Naruto shot him a suspicious glance. I see. Well then, how about you, sir? I could sell you anything you want. How about a special powder? Sprinkle this around the school and all your students are completely safe. That would be nice, but I don't think I can afford it, Takahata replied. Besides, I trust my students not to get into any sort of trouble. So Naruto began, can I ask what 2 powerful mages such as yourselves are doing in my humble shop? We've heard quite a bit of stories about your shop, Uzumaki-san, Kano answered, picking up a skull from the table and examining it. How you sell people what they need the most for the steepest of prices. How you travel the world, collecting many rare magical artifacts to give to people who order them from you. So, if I may ask, what is a famous treasure hunter like you doing here in Mahara Academy? If you must know, I've gotten a very large order from an anonymous client, Naruto answered, resting his head in his hands. I'm afraid that the artifact I am after is on these grounds. And what would it be? Takahata questioned. That spoils that surprise. Just one more question, Uzumaki-san, Kano asked, how long has it been since you fed? Naruto paused before laughing. You truly do have the best of information, don't you, Kano-san? As a damper, I already have a large supply of blood stockpiled should I get hungry, so I won't be harming any of your students. Then I take it, you know who your father was? Kano pushed further. Yes, I know exactly who my father was, what he was, and what I am, Naruto smirked. Now, if you won't buy anything, please leave. I run a store, not a library. Very well, Uzumaki-san, Kano sighed, as he turned to leave, Takahata following him, but if I find that you have indeed harmed one of my students, your punishment will not go lightly. I would expect nothing less, Naruto responded, as the door closed behind the two. Asuna, did you want to go get something sweet? Kanoka smiled, as she turned to her friend. After another long day at school, class was finally over, and the students were currently in their classroom discussing what to do with their friends. No, Asuna jumped, I have to go somewhere. Eh? Where do you need to go? Kanoka asked, I'll come with you. No, it's okay. I just have to go to my job. Asuna replied, collecting her things and standing up from her desk. But Asuna, your job is in the morning, Kanoka pointed out, your paper route, remember? I have to go. I can't be late. Asuna shouted as she ran out the door, leaving behind a confused Kanoka. Sounds like she has a boyfriend. Asakura, who had been listening to the conversation, chimed in. Do you really think so? Kanoka asked. No way. She's being blackmailed. Haruna shouted, there's no doubt about it. Maybe Asuna-san is going to do something bad. Fumika exclaimed. Like a prank. Fuuka's eyes sparkled. Or a crime. Ayaka added. It was then that a unanimous decision was made by everyone in the class. Today, they would follow Asuna and find out where she went. Asuna looked up and down the street before entering the store. As soon as she did, the rest of class 2 popped around the corner. She went in there, didn't she? Yuna asked, approaching the shop. Yeah, you think she's going to rob it? Or maybe her boyfriend's in there? Evangeline, who the group managed to drag along, froze, that store. Meanwhile, Asuna had already met with Naruto inside the shop. Oh good, you showed, Naruto smiled, pulling up a large stack of books from below the counter. I need for you to sort these on the shelves in alphabetical order. These are all in Latin. Asuna shouted. There's a translator over by the shelves. Naruto chimed, I'm going to be upstairs working on some new merchandise. If a customer comes in or something tries to kill or eat you, come get me. Asuna nodded as Naruto went up the stairs. Wait, what? The door suddenly burst open and the majority of Tua piled in, much to Asuna's shock and annoyance. What are you all doing here? We wanted to know where you were going. Asakura explained, so, where's your boyfriend? By what? Asuna shouted. Asuna-san, I will not allow you to rob this store. Ayaka exclaimed. What? Asuna couldn't believe what was happening. Asuna, what prank are you pulling? We'll help out. Fuuka asked, pulling Fumika along with her. Look, all of you get out of here now. My boss is right upstairs, and he's… Boom. Naruto came flying down the stairs on fire, hitting the ground next to the large group and ending up in a crumpled, smoking heap right by the door. Is he alive? Madoka asked. Asuna waved her hands, he's fine. Walking over to Naruto, Asuna kicked him. Get up before one of them calls an ambulance. Naruto sat up, coughing to get the smoke out of his lungs and knocking his hood back unknowingly. Well, that was a bad combination still. For such a violent reaction, it must be useful for fights, huh? Naruto had finally turned to notice the large group of girls examining him. He was short due to his appearance of a 10-year-old and had a mop of spiky blonde hair on his head. His eyes were two different colors, much like Asuna, one being a striking shade of sapphire blue, while the other a dark shade of purple. On his cheeks he had 3 whiskers marks, adding to the cuteness he had. Howie. The class was on him before he knew it, pinching his cheeks and ruffling his hair, hugging him and tugging on him. He's so cute. Who is he, Asuna? Your boss's son. Asuna sighed, no, he is my boss. I think I like it here. Naruto smiled as the girls continued to fawn over his cuteness. Hello ladies, could I interest you in anything from my humble little store? Evangeline meanwhile had lost her voice as she stared at Naruto. His voice, his attitude, this shop, there was no doubt in her mind. It's you. Evangeline said, pointing to Naruto. Naruto blinked. Ah, Eva-chan, it's nice to see you again. How's Chachizero? Was she exactly what you needed? Do you know Naruto, Eva-chan? Asuna asked, noticing Evangeline's shocked stare. The rest of Tua was silent, looking between the two chibis. It's really you, isn't it? Evangeline mumbled, walking over to the blonde. I need you to tell me what you took from me that night. Naruto smirked. I never take anything, Eva-chan. I only make deals, I don't steal. Don't screw around. Evangeline growled, grabbing Naruto by the collar. What did you take as my payment? Do you really want to know, Eva-chan? Naruto asked, leaning closer to the girl. Yes, just tell me. Evangeline shouted, blushing slightly at the lack of space between the two. Naruto laughed and walked past her towards the stairs. That spoiled the surprise, Eva-chan. Well, Asuna-chan has a lot of work to do, ladies, but feel free to come back tomorrow. My store is always open for such beautiful young ladies, such as you all. Who slowly made their way out the door, talking about Asuna's new boss and his connection to Evangeline, while Evangeline herself stood there in shock and disbelief, not moving at all when Asuna approached the girl. "Hey, are you alright, Eva-chan?" That sadistic bastard, Evangeline muttered, her body stiffening and her face hot with rage. "Get down here. Tell me what you took from me." "Eva-chan, when you say that, do you mean that?" Asuna paused, looking at the small blonde. "Did Naruto take a payment from you?" Evangeline turned to Asuna in shock. "How do you know about those?" "I just entered the store without even thinking about it. I met him and he told me he could sell me what I really needed. I didn't believe him at first, but then Asuna sighed. Anyway, I'm stuck working here because I couldn't pay what I agreed to pay." Evangeline grew a serious look in her eyes as she stared at Asuna. "Be careful around him. He's dangerous. If someone makes a deal with him, they may as well be making a deal with the devil himself." "What is he?" Asuna asked. "He can't be human. He's faster than what my eyes can keep up with. He says he's older than me, and you saw that explosion, right? He was blown down the stairs on fire and he got up like it was nothing. Just what the hell is he, Eva-chan?" "I don't know a lot about him," Evangeline sighed, taking a seat at the table. "Information on him is rare and limited. He's a hunter of sorts. He goes to different locations and gets items for people who pay him. He's helped a lot of people and he's been doing it for a long time." "Helped? Who has he helped?" Asuna questioned, taking a seat next to Evangeline. "Never mind that," Evangeline said, "all that matters is that you know you got off easy. That person is ruthless, he can't be trusted, do you understand?" Asuna nodded. "It's still hard to believe all this." Evangeline nodded and moved behind the counter. "You don't have to. Do your work for now. I'm not leaving without answers." Asuna watched as Evangeline disappeared up the steps, shaking her head and going back to her work. "Did everyone know about magic but me?" Evangeline glanced around the room she stood in. It was dark, very dark, with a few candles lit to light the room. Somehow, it was larger than the room beneath it, and from what she could see, in the corner of the room was yet another staircase. There was absolutely nothing in the room she could see but shelves full of vials, glasses, and jars. Walking down one aisle, Evangeline eyed the objects on the shelves. Blood was in most of the jars and vials, while other strange liquid sat in the others, letting off a translucent glow. Walking to the staircase, Evangeline found a table containing demented objects, dolls, skeletons, blades. Some of their heads even turned to look at Evangeline. "I had to keep Zero-chan upstairs because she developed a nasty habit of killing my customers." Evangeline shook Naruto's words from her mind as she approached the staircase, walking up it to find a door. Evangeline was just about to open the door when she heard a floorboard creak behind her. Turning swiftly, she found one of the dolls from the table staring up at her from the bottom step. "Hey, lady," the doll called out to Evangeline. "If you go in there, the master's going to kill you." Evangeline snorted, ignoring the doll and opening the door, entering the room and shutting it behind her. There were no lights on this floor, there didn't need to be. A large blue container sat in the middle of the room, blue energy twisting and turning inside it that let off a glow that illuminated the entire room in a dim light. "You aren't supposed to be in here, Eva-chan." Evangeline nearly jumped as Naruto appeared in front of the container. What is that thing?" "This." Naruto smiled. "Well, I need to keep the store powered somehow." Evangeline's eyes widened. "You bastard. Now, Eva-chan, you've committed your share of crimes, and I mine." Naruto's tone became lighthearted. "Aren't you the Dark Evangel? The one that parents tell stories of to their kids to get them to behave? I just give people what they want, there's no evil in that. It's the payments you take that are evil." Evangeline shouted. "All for this? Don't misunderstand, Eva-chan, I am in no way a good person," Naruto said, his tone becoming cold and his eyes gaining an edge to them. "I hate humanity. It's as simple as that. Nothing can change that about me. This is just my way of playing with the cards I've been dealt with. I do not force anything on anyone, they choose to buy it themselves." This is all because of him, isn't it?" Evangeline shouted. Naruto glared. "I'm beginning to dislike your amount of information, Eva-chan. Despite being the undying mage, you and I both know I could kill you. Now, I suggest you leave before I decide that you annoy me." "Why didn't you?" "Excuse me?" Naruto's glare intensified. "Why didn't you kill me?" Evangeline pressed, crossing her arms. "Why did you show that Asuna girl mercy? For that matter, why did you show me mercy that night?" "I don't see your point." Naruto turned to face the container. "You're not evil," Evangeline smirked. "No, it's because of something inside of you, isn't it? Something you keep trying to kill, right?" Naruto didn't answer. "Your mother was human, wasn't she?" Evangeline's smirk widened. "That's where the good in you is, right? No matter how much you try to deny it, you're still partly human inside." Whack. Evangeline's smirk was still there, despite the blade embedded in the wall next to her head. "Leave," Naruto growled deeply. "Now." You're not smiling, that's a first, Evangeline laughed. I'm not leaving until I know what you took. Oh, really? Naruto smirked devilishly. Really? Evangeline replied stubbornly. Yuna, Akira, Meiki, and Eiko blinked as they let the volleyball they were tossing around drop to the ground. It was a nice afternoon that day, and the group had walked out onto the quad of Mahara to relax. Other students who had come to the grassy area also stopped and looked at the spectacle before them. Put me down now, you creep. I don't think so, Eva-chan. Walking straight through the grass was Naruto, with a flailing and struggling Evangeline thrown over his shoulder. I said put me down. Evangeline struggled even more. I'll kill you for this. Sure, Eva-chan, whatever you say. Naruto laughed, walking up to the 4 students. Hello again, girls. I was wondering if you could tell me where Eva-chan lives. She just won't leave me alone. I think she has a crush on me. I do not. Evangeline shouted, I'll rip your head off for this, Uzumaki. Ignore her, Naruto waved the blonde off, so, if one of you could point me in the right direction. Eva-chan is being stubborn and won't tell me. Akira shakily raised her arm and pointed towards the woods, clearly struggling not to laugh. There, through the woods. Thank you, Naruto smiled before continuing on. I'll send you to hell. You hear me, Uzumaki? It's hard not to, Eva-chan. You're screaming in my ear. As the two disappeared into the woods, the entire quad began to laugh. Tachimaru looked up from the dinner she was currently cooking as a knock on the door came. Turning down the stove, Tachimaru briskly walked to the door and opened it, blinked, rubbed her eyes, and then checked again to make sure she saw correctly. Yes, her master was in fact being carried on a small boy's shoulder. I believe this belongs to you, Naruto said, motioning with his free hand to Evangeline, who had taken to biting his neck and hitting his back with her fists. I would suggest a leash it may get loose again. I see, Tachimaru picked Evangeline up from Naruto, setting her inside the house as she tried to push past the robot to kill the blonde. Well, thank you very much. Naruto shook his head, no problem. I'm always willing to lend a hand to my Zero-chan. I guess you're sort of like her older sister, then. Well, it was nice meeting you anyway. Naruto turned to leave and Tachimaru closed the door and looked to her master. I'm very happy to see you made a friend today, master. Should I invite him over for dinner sometime? Tachimaru, if you invite that guy to set even 1 foot into this house, you're going to be dismantled. Evangeline threatened as she stormed into the kitchen. That guy is so. Naruto, who had his hands in his hoodie pockets, thought back to Evangeline's words from their run-in. That girl is so annoying. They both thought simultaneously. Naruto sighed as he finally made it out of the woods. Who lives on campus in the middle of the woods anyway? Pesky girl. Take this. Senior student attack. A senior student declared, jumping into the air and throwing a volleyball towards Akira. Before anyone knew what had happened, Naruto had appeared in front of Akira and caught the ball. What exactly is going on here? Naruto glared at the senior girls. They wore black uniforms and were currently in a group of about 9, glaring at him. Who are you? One of them yelled at the blonde. Then Naruto-san. How did you move so fast? Don't worry Akira-chan, right? Naruto smiled. Yes, Akira nodded, Yuna standing behind her, still impressed by the boy's show of speed. Hey, we asked you a question, pipsqueak. Another senior shouted. Naruto glared at them. I'm not an important guy, so you just forget my name even if I told you. What are you doing to these ladies? Why should we answer you? The seniors yelled. Naruto smiled a sweet smile. You know, I've had a very tiring day. First I lost a good deal and ended up with a mediocre employee, then a small and noisy girl managed to pry into my life, far more than she should have, and now I have a group of idiots such as you all who are too stubborn for your own good. In short, I'm well past my patience, so don't screw around with me, understand? Every one of the girls looked at Naruto shocked as his tone turned from sweet and caring to dark and edgy in a matter of seconds. A chill slowly ran up the seniors' spines as Naruto's eyes stared directly back into their own. Hey. Naruto broke his gaze with the seniors to find a 10-year-old. Yes, some little kid running up to the group. Why does he look familiar? Who is it that's been picking on students from my class? Nigi cried, I'm a teacher. I'll get mad. That's your sensei? Naruto looked at Yuna, Akira, Meiki, and Eiko, who just shown up. Not very impressive, is he? He's still young, Akira's sweat dropped. Nigi-sensei will grow into it, Yuna sighed. Naruto nodded but still had his doubts as the seniors began to fawn over Nigi, hugging him and surrounding him. They were cut off as a ball flew through the air and hit one of them in the head. Angrily, they turned to find the attacker and found Asuna and Ayaka standing there, their arms crossed and their eyes filled with determination that this entrance was ruined, however, by Naruto's observation. Asuna-chan, you don't get off of work for another hour, Naruto called, I'm docking this from your pay. What? But it's my first day and you left, so I thought. Focus, Asuna-san, Ayaka snapped. Asuna sighed, but turned to face the seniors. You guys had better get out of here. Just because you're older doesn't mean you can push us around. I know you two Kagurazaka Asuna and Yukihiro Ayaka. One of the seniors said, you'd better listen to your superiors, kids like you should stick to playing in the corner. Also, isn't it unfair that your class gets to hog this cute little sensei? Why don't you let us keep him? You'd share with a bunch of grannies like you. Ayaka shouted, rushing at the seniors. Don't get so full of yourselves just because of your seniors. Asuna shouted, following Ayaka. What did you say, brats? The seniors growled, stepping forward. Excuse me, Nigi turned to Naruto. Who are you? Naruto glanced at Nigi. Aren't you going to stop this? Nigi nodded, everyone, please stop. Naruto shook his head and pulled off his hoodie, revealing a white undershirt and handed the hoodie to Eiko. Please hold this for me, Ni-san. I'd rather not get it dirty. Eiko took the hoodie, blinking in curiosity as Naruto walked over the group of fighting girls. Jumping high into the air, Naruto came back down and hit the earth with his knee hard. Dirt was kicked up and a small tremor followed the blow, knocking all the girls and Nigi off their feet. Naruto pulled at his undershirt and sighed at the specks of dirt. Great, I had just cleaned this, too. And Naruto-san. Eiko mumbled. Naruto walked over to the girl and retrieved his hoodie, slipping it back on. Thanks, Ni-chan. What did you just do, Naruto? Asuna shouted, being the first to recover and stand up. Naruto glared at her. Hush, Asuna-chan. None of you should be fighting in the first place. Seniors, if you are supposed to be the more mature ones here, act like it. Asuna-chan, Ayaka-chan, don't get so riled up by their words, it will just get you in more trouble. Well put, Uzumaki-san, Takahata commented as he walked onto the scene, causing Asuna to blush. I have to say, that was quite unexpected of you. Naruto snorted, turning to leave. Don't read too much into it, Takamichi, I simply don't want any possible customers harmed before they have a chance to buy something from my store. Asuna-chan, I expect to see you at work tomorrow at the same time. If you're on time, I won't deduct anything from your pay for today's mishap. Nigi-san. Nigi looked at Naruto with interest as his name was called. Yes. That was pathetic, Naruto said coldly, shocking everyone there with his apathy. You're supposed to be a teacher, right? Act like one. You not only let your students down, but your lack of an ability to restore order could have gotten them hurt. Your students trusted you enough to come to you when they needed you, don't disappoint them. Having said that, Naruto walked away, leaving the quad with every pair of eyes on his retreating figure. That was Eiko paused. Harsh, Yuna finished. How dare that little punk be so rude to Nigi-sensei. Ayaka shouted in outrage, who does he think he is? You okay, Nigi-sensei? Meiki walked over to the boy, kneeling down next to him. He's right, Nigi mumbled before looking up with determination. I'm going to try harder to become someone you all can depend on from now on. Takahata smiled lightly as the two girls surrounded Nigi. Uzumaki-sen, there may be more good in you than you realize. Naruto rubbed the sleep out of his eyes as he stared at his latest customer. It was easily past 3 AM and right now, he didn't feel like dealing with customers. Welcome, how can I help you? I've heard that you can give people what they need the most, Seo said, still shocked that the boy in front of her could see her. Ever since her classmate Asuna had gotten her new job, Seo had heard rumors of a shop that could sell someone exactly what they needed. That's right, Naruto mumbled, feeling too tired to do his normal don't tell me routine. What did you have in mind? Seo blushed, I want a friend. A friend? Naruto was suddenly wide awake and feeling a headache coming on. Let's see, do you mind if he kills people and is a bloodthirsty murderer? Yes, I don't think I want that kind of friend, Seo replied. Damn, that's the only type I have in stock, Naruto sighed. Well, I can't just refuse a request. See, could you be my friend? Naruto froze, come again. See, could you be my friend? Seo blushed, looking to the ground. Oh boy, Naruto sighed, rubbing his temple. I don't have a choice, do I? Okay, Seo-chan, I'll be your friend. You said you were a ghost, right? Seo nodded happily, yes. Then I suppose I can't exactly ask for your soul, Naruto sighed. I can't ask for body parts, you don't have any possessions or money, and that leaves. Naruto slapped his forehead, causing Seo to look at him, confused. What's wrong? Seo-chan, how'd you like to work here? Naruto answered, I'm guessing you have nowhere else to go, right? I don't have a home, Seo nodded. Okay, you'll stay here with me and work off your rent by working for me. Naruto rubbed his eyes as he felt his pillow calling for him, and all the while, I'll be your friend. Deal? Deal? Seo cheered happily. Great, Naruto yawned. Now, first order of business, let's go to bed. You're going to be late because of what? Seo looked confused as Naruto's grip tightened on the phone in his hands. Just moments ago, while deciding on what to do for the day, the phone rang with Asuna on the other line. Seo didn't really understand much after that, hearing only snippets of the conversation such as seniors. Those ones from yesterday. And what do you mean you're going to be late? Dodgeball? Naruto shouted in shock, you're skipping out on work to play a game of dodgeball. Sayo could make out mumbling from the other line that sounded like Asuna, but couldn't tell what she was saying. Don't even try to give me any excuses for this one. Naruto growled, so what if they wanted to use the court you guys had for gym? They said they'd take Nigi. Since when can students decide which classroom a teacher is assigned to? What? No, don't put Akira in the photo. Hello, Akira-chan. No, nothing's wrong, but Asuna said she's going to be late because of a game of dodgeball. I see if it would be possible for Asuna not to participate. Come again. What's Baka power? Sayo floated over to Naruto, who now had his head laid down on the counter, one hand holding the phone to his ear, while the other had a tight grip on his hair. I see, could you put Asuna back on the line, please? Naruto sighed. What do you mean? She said no. She said she's afraid. No, I don't want to talk to Hello, Eiko-chan. Yes, I heard about the dodgeball game. Is Asuna there? Yes, from what I know, it is a weird situation. No, don't apologize, I don't understand what's going on either, excuse me. And no, please Don. Hello, Eva-chan. Yes, I know. No, I'm not going to tell you what I took as a payment. Eva-chan, look, can you just tell me what the hell is happening over there? Hello? Eva-chan. Damn it, is everything alright, Naruto-kun? Sayo asked, floating a few inches over his shoulder. Come on, Sayo-chan, we have work to do. Naruto shook his head, grumbling about stupid kids and dodgeball as he stepped out the door. So, this is the world tree, huh? Naruto stared up at the large tree, taking in the sight. It was easily one of the largest things Naruto had come across in his long life. Interesting. Sayo nodded. The world tree has been here since Mahara was founded. The plaza that surrounded the world tree was large, with a cobblestone paving leading up to a set of stairs that led to the world tree itself. Surrounding that were numerous stores, many of which Naruto glared at, seeing more people enter them in a few minutes than people enter his in a week. The peacefulness of the scene was completed with the sun setting over the horizon and the street light coming on, the students of Mahara quietly walking by. Sayo-chan, you've been here a long time, haven't you? Naruto asked casually, walking up to the world tree and patting its bark with his hand. How deep would you say the tree's roots run? I'm not too sure. I've heard rumors that they go very deep though and run throughout all of Mahara. Sayo chimed, floating over to Naruto. Why? Just wondering, Naruto frowned, turning around. Anyway, let's head back. Asuna should be at the shop by now. This is cruel and unusual punishment. Asuna shouted into the store, blushing like mad. Deal with it, Naruto called back, never looking up from his book. Yesterday, you left work early and today you came in late, so you have to make up for it. Now it looks cute and attracts more customers. Asuna grumbled but turned back to the large crowd of people passing through the shopping district. Come on in, everyone. Naya. Asuna was currently in a maid outfit, which left her to wonder why Naruto even had that, and currently wore a pair of cat ears on her head and a tail. She had shown up at the shop a short time after Naruto and Sayo had returned and was forced into the costume and instructed to draw in customers. Isn't this a little cruel, Naruto-kun? Sayo asked as she stacked more books on the shelves, which appeared to be moving on their own to a normal person. She has to learn her lesson somehow, Sayo-chan, Naruto replied, flipping a page. At least this way we can make a profit. Asuna sighed, turning to the next person walking down the street. Come on in, NYA. Hey Asuna-chan. Asuna's eyes snapped open as she recognized the voice. T. Takahata-sensei. Takahata tried to spare Asuna of her embarrassment by looking to the sky. I was looking for Uzumaki-san. Is he in? Asuna, blushing madly, pointed to the door. He's in there. Takahata entered the store, catching Naruto's attention. Looking to the bookshelves, Takahata was surprised to find Sayo working diligently on stacking and sorting multitudes of books on the shelves. What can I do for you, Takamichi? Naruto asked. Change your mind about that powder I offered. Takahata shook his head. No, Uzumaki-san, I'm here to tell you that Kano-san has requested your presence. Kano? Naruto turned back to his book and waved Takahata off. Forget it. I'm not some errand boy and I'm not a servant. If Kano wants to talk to me about something, he'll have to pay up. Now, if you're not going to buy anything, please leave. But Kano-san is willing to pay you a fair amount should your job be done correctly. There may even be the prospect of treasure to add to your collection, Takahata offered, adjusting his glasses. I'm listening, Naruto caved. Now, before I go to Kano, tell me the basics of what he's expecting me to do. You see, exams are coming up in Mahara, Takahata explained, and our friend Nigi-kun will be having a final test to see if he's fit to be a teacher or not. The class he is in charge of is notorious for coming last in grades, and if he wants to prove himself, he needs to change that. Kano has obstacles prepared for Nigi-kun, and you will be there to evaluate how Nigi handles them under the guise of treasure hunting. Naruto stood from the counter and sat his book down. Sayo-chan, Takemichi, and I were going to discuss some business. Once you're done there, please dust off the blood containers on the second floor. Hi, Naruto-kun. Sayo waved them off. Ano offered Naruto a smile as the blonde entered his office. I'm glad to see you've considered the offer, Uzumaki-san. How much are you willing to pay me? Naruto asked immediately as he sat down on one of the couches in the room. That will all depend on how well you do in your task. Kano leaned over his desk and slid Naruto a slip of paper, but it will range from these numbers. Naruto flipped open the paper and smirked, alright, on one condition. And that would be? I want the artifact that they're going to be searching for. Naruto crossed his arms. After the job is done, I expect it along with the money. Do we have a deal? For what reason do you want the book? Kano questioned. For my own reasons, Naruto answered. I am a treasure hunter. I have a natural instinct not to let any treasure I come across out of my grasp. Kano hesitated before nodding. Very well, Uzumaki-san. Good. Naruto stood up and headed for the door. I accepted the job, then. Takahata turned to Kano as the door closed. Do you trust him? I trust him if only to carry out his current assignment, Kano sighed, turning to look out the window, but I can't help but question why he came to Mihara. He said he had a large order to fill, Takahata recalled. That is what worries me the most, Kano sighed. Uzumaki Naruto has been known to work for clients of all kinds, retrieving magical items, no matter how the client plans to use them. I'm quite worried over who his client is. Mihara is a place of great magic, but I can't imagine Naruto going to the trouble of setting up his store here for more than a few days to get a magical book he could have easily stolen. Before I can't imagine what his order was, but you can be certain that Naruto will complete it, no matter what the cost. What? Broken up? Asuna shouted in shock. Hinoka nodded. The lowest scoring class is supposed to be broken up. I like the class we have now, it's fun. Dua sat in the hot waters of the baths, discussing the upcoming exams and the new rumors flying around the school that came with them. The baths were large, almost like a pool, and the surrounding tropical plants gave it the look of belonging in a 5-star hotel, let alone a school. This is bad. We're the ones dragging the class down. Meiki panicked. Even if we study with everything we've got, it won't be enough, Eru. Kufei added. If it comes down to it, you spoke up, there's always that thing. Do you have a way out, you? Asuna exclaimed, moving through the water to sit next to the girl. You guys know about Library Island, right? It's where our library expedition club meets, you explained. Well, the truth is, there's supposed to be a magical book deep inside it that makes the owner smarter. I always thought it was just a good textbook, but it would still be useful to have. That's just an urban legend, you. Haruna laughed. There are a lot of weird people in our class, but magic can't exist, right? Meiki sighed, sinking into the water. Asuna, being the only one in the small group to know magic existed, lit up. We've got to get that book. Yu shook her head. Library Island is full of traps. We've been exploring it for a long time now, and we still don't have even half of the area mapped out. It would take an expert to get to the book. I think Asuna couldn't believe what she was saying. I think I know someone who could help us. Ignoring the confused stares of her classmates, Asuna waded through the water to the edge and got out, running to her clothes and pulling out a phone before she began to dial and hold it up to her ear. Pick up. Udoka looked to Asuna. Who are you calling? Asuna held up a finger to her lips to quiet the group. Hello, yes, it's me. No, I'm not afraid to call you. Geez, I just need your help, okay? You're supposed to be a treasure hunter, right? Then this should be perfect for you. Payment. Why do you need a payment? Can't you just do something for free from the bottom of your heart? You do have a heart. Stop screwing around. Okay, how about I work overtime for free for 3 days? How about 4 days? 5. Fine, I'll do it for a full week. Asuna snapped her phone shut and growled, sitting back with her things before returning to the baths. I really hope this works. Thanks for watching my video, see you next time, till then sayonara.